Children are said to be a gift from God to their parents. Hello guys, you're welcome to another exciting day. You're welcome to my channel. You're welcome to YJ Digital World. I'm your host, Abu Joseph. So guys, on today's tutorial video, I'll be walking you through how I was able to achieve this Children's Day flyer design using Photoshop to be precise. So guys, if you are new to the channel and you're yet to subscribe, do well to smash the subscribe button, and turn on the post notification bell to get notification whenever I upload new content on my channel. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you guys for always watching, guys. So without further ado, let's dive into the design phase. So first thing first, we'll have to create the Canva Workspace for this project. And in creating this, I'll be making use of the Instagram frame size of 4 by 4 inches. The unit is set on inches. The resolution for this design will be set on 300. I like creating my design for high quality purposes. And the color mode remains on RGB. This design will be posted on social media and other electronic platforms as well. Likewise, we can choose to give the project a name called this Children's Day. Okay, that is Children's Day to be precise. Then you leave other settings the way they are and click on the create. So over here we have the Canva Workspace on which we'll be designing on. So the first thing I would like to do here is to drag in the resource files I'll be using to create this design. So guys, here are the exercise files I'll be using to create this design. Okay, do well to check the video description. You'll find the link to the exercise file in the video description. Okay, so the first phase in creating this Children's Day design has to do with creating of the design composition. Okay, so in creating the design composition, I'll be making use of these resource files here to create this design. Okay, so the first phase in the design composition has to do with creating of the background. Okay, so over here I have images I'll be using to give a good feel of happiness for the background here, to be precise. So I'll place this over here. Okay, so I'll start by working on these images. So before doing that, I'll select the background layer over here, slide over to solid fill, and for the background I'll be making use of this hex code for my background. That is hex code for the color. So for this, I'll select this, hit Ctrl T. Okay, it is perfectly fitted to the Canva. I like to change the blending mode for this to think this is okay this way. Then for this other image here, I also like to change its blending mode to this. Okay, so after I'm done with that, I'd like to come to the adjustments and add a curve adjustment to this and create a curve of this nature, to be precise. Please take note when working with the curves are made up of 3 regions. These ends are called highlights, the middle parts are called the midtones, these bottom parts are called the shadow regions. Okay, so me applying this way, I'm adding more of dark shades to the design. Okay, so after I'm done with that, I'd like to enable the other set of images such as this. Okay, so I'll place this over here, enable it, hit Ctrl T on the keyboard to transform and scale out like this. Okay, so after you're done scaling it out like this, okay, you can right click and flip vertically, right click and flip horizontally. I think this is okay like this. You can still scale it out properly the way you want it, and I think it is good this way. And we click on the check button. So after we're done with this, I would like to create a feel of smooth transition between those background. So I'll add a vector mask over here. Okay, and pick the gradient tool. To pick your gradient tool, you can hit G on the keyboard to actually pick the gradient tool. So I'll set this to black and this should be set on white. This pattern should be set on linear. And please take note, we are working with the basics, so we'll be picking this particular option. Okay, so it is more of only the foreground that is visible. So come over here, make sure the mask is selected, left click and drag out this way like this. and you see what happens. You see what happens. Those sharp edges has actually disappeared. Okay. So after I'm done with that, I would like to work on the opacity by scaling down the opacity so that it can blend in perfectly well this way. So after we're done with that, I would like to add the light flare, which is this image over here. And okay, it has already been placed. So set this to screen to be precise. Okay. So after I'm done with setting that to screen, I enable this scratch texture layer over here. Control T, right click, and rotate it to an angle of 90 degrees. Hold Alt, left click, and scale out like this to fit in. I think this will work perfectly well. Change the blending mode as well to screen and reduce the opacity to about 11 to be precise. It will work perfectly well. Okay, so after we are done with that, I would like to select this layer over here. Hold Shift, select this layer, hit Ctrl G to group this and call this BG, which stands for the background. Okay, so after I'm done creating the background, I'll hit Ctrl Shift N to create a noise texture layer and call this noise to be precise. Okay, I'll change the mode to soft light, enable the 50% gray option, and we click on the OK button. Right click and convert your layer to a smart object, and head over to filter and apply the noise effect. Okay, set it to this particular radius and you are good to go. Okay, so after we are done with that, we are done with creating of the background. So the next phase has to do with the child image. Okay, so here is a child image we'll be using for this illustration. So before working on your child image, it is expected of you to always right click and convert any image you'll be using for your design to a smart object. By doing so, it enables you to actually maintain the quality of the image whenever you scale it out or scale it in without losing the quality of the image. And one of the added advantage of converting your layer to a smart object, it enables you to make subsequent changes or adjustments to that layer at any point in time. Okay, so after I'm done right clicking and converting it to a smart object, come to filter. This is where I'll be using the camera raw. So over here in the camera raw, I'll be using the camera raw to make this image pop perfectly. Okay, so in order for you to have a preview of before and after, I'll enable this so that I have a good preview of before and after, to be precise. So the first panel we'll be working on has to do with the basics. So in the basics, we'll start by playing with this handle. Please take note that when working with the camera raw, this is more of an eyeballing situation. There are no actual rules guiding it. You allow your eyes to guide you to know when you are over applying a particular filter or a particular adjustment to your image. Okay, so for this, I'll start by boosting up the exposure a little bit this way. So after I'm done, I like to work on the contrast as well, adjust the contrast, and work on the highlight as well by scaling down this way. Okay, on the shadows, we have to scale up the shadows as well to a good minimum radius. I think after we are done with that, we'll work on the white as well as on the black. So for the white, I'll scale up this way. Okay, and the black, I'll also like to take it down this way. Okay. Okay, for the textures, we like to take up the texture. This is my major area of focus, to be precise. I would like to make this texture pop out. The clarity should be taken to a good radius so that the image will be popping properly, okay, looking nice. Okay, so after we are done with that, I'll come to details over here and scale up the sharpening level to a good radius as, let me see, I think this is looking okay so far. I think this is okay. For this, I'll also take this to this radius. Okay, I think we are good. And after you are done, you can have a good preview of before and the after. Okay, and after you are done with that, you click on OK. So this is how the image is looking like so far. Okay, so in a situation whereby I'm not comfortable with the adjustment I just made, I can come over here, double click on the camera raw, and it will take me back to the camera raw interface where I can still make adjustment and still click the change, save the changes. Okay, that is one of the benefits of you converting your layer to a smart object. So after you're done with that, I can choose to scale this out and take this down like this. Okay, I think this is okay like this. So the next thing I would like to do here is to uh, start placing other set of information such as the text. So before doing that, enable the view. On the view, enable your guides and select the new guides layout. So here are the parameters I use in setting up my guides, and I'll click on this. Okay, so after you're done with setting up your guides, I'll hit Ctrl H to hide the guides. I'll need to do some adjustments to this image. So I'll come to the adjustments over here, click on the curve. Okay, click on the clip mark so that the effect will only affect only the lady image, that is the girl's image over here. So I'll add a little feel of adjustment this way. Okay, that is more of shadows. After done, come over here to the adjustment, enable the color balance, click on the clip marks so that the effect will be only on the child image, to be precise. So over here we have the CMYK, and over here we have the RGB. Okay, so me going this way, I'm adding blue, that is cyan. Me sliding this way, I'm adding more of red to the image. So please take note that when working on color balance are made up of shadows, midtones, and highlights. So the first we are working on has to do with the midtones. So on the midtones here, I would like to boost, take down this way. Okay, adding a little feel of cyan to this, and I'm working with the colors I actually have. I'm taking them down from the midtones. So this as well, adding a little feel of yellow to the midtones as well. For this, come to the highlights as well. On the highlights, we'll boost the reds to add more details and add more feel of yellow this way. Think is okay like this. On the shadows as well, we like to make little adjustment on the shadow by adding a little feel of red to the dark regions, that is the shadows, and the yellow we also add a little feel of blue to those end as well. So after we are done with that, we are good to go. So you can see this is without the color balance and this with the color balance. So I can select this layer, hold shift, select the child layer, hit Ctrl G to group them, and I'll call this child, to be precise. So I'm trying to organize my layer as neat as possible. So after I'm done with that, we can move by placing other elements. Okay, but before moving on, I'd like to create a new layer over here. Okay, pick the brush, press B on the keyboard to pick your brush. Okay, B enables you to pick your brush. So in a situation where you notice that your brush is looking like mine, like this on the screen, take note that your caps lock is actually enabled. So you turn off your caps lock, you can now have a preview of the actual size and structure of your brush. So I can right click and select the soft round brush. I'll be making use of the soft round brush for this. Okay, so after I'm done, I would like to sample a color from this region over here. Okay, dark shade is okay for me like this. I'll click on the OK. So after I'm done, scale down the size, come over and make sure the opacity and flows are set on 100% respectively. Come over here and scale up the size of your brush using the open and close bracket key beside the P button to scale up and scale down the size of your brush. So I can come here, left click this way to apply the fill color over here. For this, I also change the blending mode to screen, Ctrl T, I can hold Alt, scale it out, and apply the flare, okay, that we just created over here. So this is without, and this is with the flare we just created. So I'll scale it out to create that feel of an atmosphere effect from the background, okay, like the light is from the background, okay. For this, I'll come back over here where I have this, and I would like to reposition this over here so that we'll have that feel of light from the background, okay, that is light reflection source from the background as well. You can see that this is actually popping. So after I'm done working with that, I would like to reduce the opacity to about this radius, okay, that is in terms of that. So the next thing I would like us to do again is to create another new layer. For this, I'll call this light flare, okay, light flare, okay. So for this, I need to create a fill so that when I place in an information along this region, it can be visible, okay. I'm trying to create room for contrast so that the information placed on the foreground can be seen, okay. It won't be dragging attention with the main image. So I'll come over here, select the gradients to this is the hex code for the color I'm actually using for this. So I'll just come over here. This is set on linear. Come here, left click and drag out like this. So now you can now have a preview of what I'm actually saying. For this, I can hit Ctrl T, scale down the size this way to this radius is good. And I would like to work on the opacity by scaling this down to a good radius of about 94 to be precise. So after I'm done with that, I can move over by placing in information. So I'll turn on the guide by hitting Ctrl H. So for this logo here, that's my brand ID. That is my brand identity here. So I'll place it along this region like this. Okay. So after I'm done, we'll move by placing the text. So I'll left click and placing the text we'll be using for this. So for this, I'll start by placing in the dates, which is the 27th of this month to be precise. So, and here's the font I'll be using. I'll be making use of a font called let me see, Bestorica. That is the name of the font. For this, I'll select this and change its fill color by sampling a color along this region and click on the OK. While for this other set of text, here is the hex code for the color I'm actually using. Okay. So after I'm done, hit Ctrl T, scale this up a little bit and place it somewhere here like this. Okay. So for the rider text, that is this text over here, I'll come over here, placing this text over here. I'll be making use of Montserrat. I'll set this on medium, Ctrl T, scale down the size like this. Okay. I would like to set this to right align. Okay, and pick the move tool and reposition this way. Make sure it is actually overlapping. So after you're done, you can come to the character panel over here and add more leadings to this. That is the space between text on the vertical axis, and use your navigation key to create a space this way. Ctrl H to hide. This is how the project is looking like so far. Okay, so the next thing I would like to do is to work on the Happy Children's Day text. So for the happy text, I'll paste it over here. Okay. So after I'm done, I'll come over here where I have the background. I will select the background group, hit Ctrl J on the keyboard to create a duplicate of the group, right click and merge the group. Okay. So after you're done, I'd like you to take this above the text layer where you have the happy text. So I'll select the text layer and hit Ctrl to scale it out properly. So I will enable this image over here, hold Alt in between these two layers. You notice your mouse pointer changes to this when you hold Alt in between the two layers. You can now click to create a clipping mask. Okay, so select the layer where you have the image, Ctrl T. You can scale it down. Okay, you can choose to rotate it and create a feel of something of this nature. Okay, this way is okay. Okay, that is in terms of that. Then for the Children's Day text, you can also choose to place in this over here. Ctrl T to scale it out. Okay, Ctrl A, check first. Ctrl A, pick the move tool, okay, which is hitting V on the keyboard. Align this horizontally to the middle, Ctrl D to deselect. So you can choose to take this down like this. Okay, so after you're done with that, I would like to change the font I use in creating this. So I'll be making use of the historical font for this. Okay, you can make use of the historical font for this as well. Come to your character panel, select the historical font, and you are good to go. So in a situation whereby you don't have your character panel over here, you can enable it from the windows and click on this character here, and you are good to go. So after you're done, scale this up this way. Okay, select the text layer of happy and this. Okay, hit Ctrl T, position the text around here like this. Pick your move to adjust its position this way. Okay, so after you are done, you can select the layers and group them together. So I can call this the theme of the event. Okay, so I'll hit Ctrl T. Okay, and we are good to go. So after we are done, you can double click on the layer, or you right click and click on layer style. Over here, we have the layer style, and click on drop shadow. I need to create a fill of a shadow at the base of the text. So you can set yours as follows and click on the OK button, Ctrl H, and can have a good preview of how this is actually looking like. Okay, for this I can still choose to scale down the size of this text. Okay, come over here, adjust the tracking to about -40. Okay, for this I'll still maintain the Montserrat and make use of medium for the line of text. I think we are good to go this way. So after we are done, think guys, you're almost done with this. Come over here and apply a finishing touch using the adjustment over here and applying the color lookup. Okay, for this I can go by working on any color lookup that I see fit for this design, and I'll use it for this. Okay, I think this is actually okay, and this image is actually popping very well. Okay, so I can still choose to adjust this text, set this back to pass through. Okay, and pick your move to adjust the position of the text, take it down. You can still choose to scale it up. And ladies and gentlemen, we are good to go, guys. So ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of today's tutorial. If you do find this tutorial helpful, do well to give it a like, do well to smash the like button, guys. So if you are new to the channel and you have not subscribed, do well to smash the subscribe button. Do well to smash the subscribe button and turn on the post notification bell to get notification whenever I upload new content on my channel. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always watching, guys. If you have any question, any comments, you can leave your questions and comments in the comment section. Do well to also check the description. Okay, you find the link to this exercise files in the video description. Thank you for watching and see you in the next.